The auto industry is taken aback by NIO's revolutionary new affordable electric vehicle. NIO shares will skyrocket. NIO and BYD sleek, intelligent electric vehicles won over Chinese consumers and their wallets, and the companies have already established a following among U.S. investors. In the future, when the car industry transitions to all-electric vehicles, they may pose the greatest competition to Tesla and established automakers. This is the crunch time for attracting international car purchasers. In this article, we will discuss why NIO next-generation vehicles and global expansion are stunning the auto industry. In order to win over skeptical stockholders, NIO has been actively marketing itself. Here's today's dosage of NIO stocks on NIO Stock Live. This is the place to be if you want to know anything and everything about the NIO stock. If you'd like us to keep you updated on NIO stock news, please subscribe and hit the like button. Let us return to the subject at hand. We mentioned NIO and BYD. Two of the most well-known Chinese EV manufacturers are expanding into Europe in a big way, with sales beginning in Norway in 2021. NIO is doing a similar event on October 7th, while on September 28th, BYD had a virtual event where they unveiled 3 all-electric cars aimed towards the European market. Many more Chinese automakers, which are largely unknown in the West, are competing with well-known names like Tesla and the German automakers Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. According to Michael Dunn, CEO of auto consultancy Zozo, Chinese automakers are finally confident in their ability to establish themselves on a worldwide scale. We can feel optimistic about this. Sales of Chinese-made electric vehicles are skyrocketing. Chinese automobiles are no longer ridiculed for shoddy construction, but instead praised for their innovative integration of hardware, software, and electric vehicle technologies. Producers of electric vehicles in China are optimistic about the market. There are other motivations to take the plunge. Companies in the electric vehicle industry, such as NIO, Expanding, and Li Auto, are keeping a close watch on the capital markets as a potential source of the new funding they will need to maintain operations in the years to come. Dunn said to Investors Business Daily that the firms are still in their infancy and not ready for prime time. How something is funded provides insight. We're expanding internationally and can hold our own against any rival. The question remains, why Europe? Nearly 12 million automobiles will be shipped in Europe in 2021. Making it the world's third largest market for auto sales behind China and the United States. Of those, about 2.3 million will be electric vehicles. EVs such as all-electrics and plug-in hybrids, making Europe the world's second largest market for EV sales after China. BYD plans to sell 4 million vehicles in 2023, at least twice this year's expected number. BYD is the top seller of electric vehicles in China and the world's largest seller of electric vehicles and plug-in hybrids. For this to happen, it is necessary for Chinese EV manufacturers to establish a strong presence in Europe. The market in Europe is enormous. Europe is the second largest market for EV, and it has more potential to expand than China does, thanks to lower levels of intense competition. Europe is more receptive to Chinese imports than the US is, which has extremely high taxes on Chinese automobiles. Since the cost of labor in China is substantially lower than in Western Europe or North America, shipping to the continent is largely subsidized. On Tuesday, NIO CEO William Li told the Financial Times that rising energy prices are delaying the company's expansion and the installation of battery swap stations across Europe. Europe appears to be sliding towards a recession due to rising energy prices and other factors, which might dampen demand for automobiles in general and more expensive electric vehicles in particular. NIO and BYD are at the forefront of China's electric vehicle EV push in the European market. The coming year will serve as a true test for Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers. Wager on a global scale. They are shipping their newest and finest products to European markets. They are taking their EV out on the road on a tour to show off for potential buyers and investors. BYD, a company supported by Warren Buffett, revealed its Atwo, 3-Han, and Tang EV for the European market on Wednesday, with shipments beginning in October. While the Han and Tang start at EUR 72,000, the 83 start at EUR 38,307,200. Those prices are a lot higher than their Chinese counterparts. it would appear that BYD is making an effort to gain a high profile in Europe. In a similar vein, NIO's co-founders will be touring Europe this month and holding an unveiling event on October 7th in Berlin. Also, in what other ways? This is an NIO EV. Polestar has scheduled the debut of its Polestar 3 electric SUV for October 12 in Copenhagen. Geely of China owns a majority stake in Volvo of Sweden, which in turn is owned by Polestar. However, few Chinese automakers have established names or track records on the world's other continents, and Europeans, especially Germans, have intense devotion to their favorite brands. This is proving to be a difficult endeavor. It's up to them to convince customers to part with their cash and put their faith in these Chinese businesses, which are still relatively unknown in the West. As Dunn put it, it has been difficult for American, Japanese, and Korean automakers to get into the European market. After years of losses, Ford and GM both pulled out of Europe in 2017, and Ford has since reduced its presence there. Edison Yu, an analyst at Deutsche Bank, has stated that entering the industry is challenging for new companies. It's possible that Tesla is the outlier. Which is better, a Volkswagen or a Tesla? The European automobile industry. There are 18 countries in Western Europe that make up the European automobile market. This includes all of the EU member states prior to the 2004 expansion, as well as Norway, Iceland, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. In 2019, Tesla dominated the electric vehicle market, but by 2021, it had fallen from prominence. Schmidt Automotive Research reports that since March, when its Berlin facility first opened, its share of the European EV market has dropped to 14%, putting it on pace with the Fiat Puga and Chrysler parent Stellantis, but much behind Volkswagen Group, which holds a 25% share. While a comeback is possible, Tesla is currently in third place after Honda, Kia, BMW, and the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi Alliance. During Europe's EV transition, Korean automaker Hyundai Kia has expanded market share thanks to innovative new offerings like the Ioniq 5. Existing automakers are beginning the transition to EV, but they still rely heavily on sales of gas and diesel vehicles, making them an easier target for China's EV manufacturers. Chinese electric vehicle manufacturers are expanding across the continent of Europe. So yet, only Geely and SAIC, two Chinese automakers, have made a dent in the vast European market for electric vehicles built in China. According to Schmidt, a Berlin-based organization, China's EV manufacturer sold 37,700 all-electric vehicles in Europe during the first 7 months of 2022, increasing their share to 5%. Almost 90% and 10% of such sales were made by Geely's Polestar 2 and 6 MKG brands. Companies like Bid4 Group and NIO, Expanding, and Aways, who sold over 1,000 units combined, made up the rest.